Vince Lombardi once famously said, "Man's greatest achievement is not in never failing, but in rising again when you do fail." Kamryn Babb never really failed. He just got hurt, and he has risen again. The former CBC star is tonight's spotlight subject. Corey Miller has this inspirational look at his life.
If you're talking about football phenoms from St. Louis in the past 20 years, you can't make a list without Kamryn Babb.
There was one game that he played really, really well, and the coaches kept saying, like, he does stuff with his body that's not teachable. I'm like, but he's 9, he's 9. Everybody wants to play football.
But not everyone could play football like Babb. A star from the start at CBC, he was one of the most sought-after receiving recruits in the entire country.
You know, he was a generational type talent. He was explosive. He could jump out of the building. He could outrun you. He could outmaneuver you. He could outwork you.
I used to see movies and stuff where you see the football player getting letters and all that, and then they started coming to my house.
And I have a tote that's, one of those biggest totes you can buy. It's about this tall, and it's full of mail.
An ACL injury hampered his senior season at CBC, but soon it was on to one of the premier college programs in the country, Ohio State. The Buckeyes have become known for developing star wide receivers, and Babb was next up. Until life got in the way. He tore his other ACL in practice freshman year, and then he did it again in spring of 2019.
When he told us that, it was just like, man, again.
It was after that third injury that Cam Babb, the football player, began to look long and hard at Cam Babb, the person.
The question of just, God, what do you want me to do? Why am I going through this? That question came into mind, and really just thinking about is this football thing something that I want to keep doing. When you ask like, Cam Babb, who are you? I just was so caught up in, I grew up playing football, and so when you asked me who I was Cam Babb, the football player, and that's all I knew. That's all I was identifying as. And so when that was taken away for the third time, I didn't really know what to do or what to fall back on.
He called and he said, "Mom, I'm coming home." He said, "I can't do this anymore." When I picked him up from the airport that night, and we sat on the couch and we both cried, and I said, "Can you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am okay with never doing this again?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Okay, then that's what you have to decide."
So back to rehab he went, armed with a newfound devotion to his faith. And he did get on the field in 2020, playing a role on special teams and eventually becoming a team captain. But the once hyped receiver was still looking for that first college catch. And yet another ACL injury in 2021 didn't deter him. Kamryn Babb was getting back on that field. 4 ACL injuries, 6 total surgeries, and all. On November 12th of this past season, in his final home game against Indiana, Babb was cleared to play.
He said
He's going to get PT.
he might get some PT.
And of course, I'm like, now what? Also means physical therapy.
Right.
But yeah, it was playing time.
I looked at CJ and he talked to me, and he was like, "Bro, we're finna give you the ball."
He was out there by himself, one-on-one. I was like, "Oh, Cameron's out there one-on-one. You should throw him a fade."
I saw the ball in the air, but again, I don't really remember what happened. I just know my hands was out.
And then it happened. And I didn't see it happen because I was crying so hard.
This time it's Kamryn Babb. Oh, that is a great story.
Not a dry eye around us in the area that we were sitting in. It was unbelievable.
5th season with the program.
And as he knelt in that end zone on his scarred and surgically repaired knees, Babb once again turned to his faith.
The past 5 years of thinking about a moment like that where I can score and I can just, again, glorify him and give thanks. And all the times in my room when I was in that position on my knees, asking God why and praising him, and just the moment that you saw on that Saturday, I've had that moment in my room so many different times when it was just me and him. And that was just my way to just tell him thank you.
Likely the only player to ever come back and score a touchdown after 2 ACL tears in each knee, Babb's story is one of pain and perseverance. The dream may not have gone as he planned, but life gave him a moment and a story to inspire others.
And if it wasn't for the suffering that I had to go through personally, or somebody else has to go through, I wouldn't be the man that I am today standing before you.
I know what that dream meant to him. And it may not look what he thought it was going to look like, but he's touched a lot of people.
I just wanted to as well, inspire, young kids, whoever may be, that may have an injury right now or maybe going through something and they feel like they want to quit or want to give up. I wanted to let them know, man, if I could do it, especially, if you have Jesus with you, if you're a follower of Christ, that, you can do anything through him.
Man, this sport, man, this school, something different about these Bucks, man.
For Sports Plus in St. Louis, I'm Corey Miller.